and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded, Season 3, Episode 3, Coordinator Salvation. As you always know, our titles have some kind of meaning to it, which we will discuss. I am your host, Eric, with my main man right over there. Ron, how are you?
I am quite all right.
Quite all
Raring to
right.
go. Raring
I
to
am-
go.
Yeah,
Look, these early predictions are getting out of hand.
yes. And I will pay up on my bet today. So today will be the day.
Wait, why? What do you mean you pay up your? You should already be wearing the damn thing.
During predictions, I can't go any further. I wouldn't do it to you, my friend. I wouldn't make you wear it all.
This is just not even right. This is not right. You should be wearing that thing
Oh.
proudly.
Definitely not proudly. So we are going to start off with, as usual, so much to unfold in the sports world this week. We're going to start off with our leadoff story, and that is one Tom Brady and his loss to the Dallas Cowboys on Monday. Question would be, Ron, is this the last time we see Tom Brady on an NFL field, other than in broadcasting? Let's
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's going to come back. You know, I mean, I don't think he's going to come back in Tampa Bay.
Okay.
You know, I just think he's had enough with the Tampa Bay scene. Their line was absolutely terrible. And I mean, let's face it, if you don't have a line, you don't have really a winning team.
Yeah, a lot of injuries on the offensive line this season for him. So that was obviously some of the issues that they had when it came to the offensive line. But I would say this, out of the 23 years that we've seen Tom Brady, I felt like he had the least intensity I've seen in quite some time. And that's where I'm
not
starting to
sure.
question.
I think the opposite. I think he was intense. I mean, he spent every game yelling at his team. I mean, there was intensity there. It's just, I don't think it was urgency.
Yeah, see, I don't know if it was Tom Brady intensity. I didn't see that fire. I didn't see when we were watching the game on Monday. So I'm watching this game and I'm saying, okay, they get down. You see a little bit. He hadn't thrown a red zone interception in his career in the playoffs. He just threw that ball up. Like, it didn't matter. It wasn't important, you know, and that's some of the things you didn't see. Tom Brady would rather get 3 points than no points.
Right.
And we used to see that all the time. And this one, it just seemed different. It seemed like it wasn't the same Tom Brady. Like, okay, threw 66 times.
Yeah,
he still
no,
physically
look,
can do it.
It just wasn't. I just think it just wasn't Tampa Bay. Like, I mean, we're looking at that team, and it was a poor team. Like, let's be honest here. Like, you know, we always believed, okay, well, the Tom Brady magic, you know, can work, and with the history of the Dallas Cowboys not being able to win a playoff game,
on the
but
road.
there is one thing that we didn't count on. That Dallas Cowboys was just a superior team this season to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Dak Prescott played his butt off. Like, it was sad. It's just that simple sometimes.
I'm going to agree with you there. I think Dak definitely played probably one of his best games as a Dallas Cowboy. But I will also say this: Tom Brady used to find ways to win. Different things. At no point in that game did I feel they were in it. I didn't feel like there was a situation now where Tom Brady's going to come in and go, okay, I'm Tom Brady. I'm going to make some plays.
It just was a lopsided game.
So I'll ask you this, then, Ron. If you think he's going to come back, where's he coming back to? What makes the most sense for Tom Brady? Again, he'll be 46, 24th year in the league. had his first losing season ever in his career. He'd never lost a season, had a losing record. He was 8-9 last season. He still threw for 733 attempts. You know what I mean? Like the man
Yeah,
still
and that's
physically
another
can
thing.
do
When
it.
you're throwing for 60 attempts in a game,
Yeah,
I thought the number was what, 66? Was it?
66 in that game, in the playoff game. Yes.
And like that's way too much.
Yeah, didn't have a running
you're
game.
basically one dimensional. You know you're going to throw it. You don't even have to worry about the run. And let's be honest. I mean, that makes it so simple for a defense. And if you have the defensive pieces, and when you're talking about having Parsons and Diggs and all those other guys, that is you're not going to come back from that.
But again, I mean, what did Tampa not have? Grunk, Rob Gronkowski. They still had Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette. These are the same guys that have been there.
Yeah.
So I start to go. So again, my question would be, where's he go? What makes the most sense for Tom Brady? If he's going to come back, which I'm more on the fence of he's not because of already retiring once. I think this was more of he needed to keep his mind going during this whole divorce process. I think that.
Look, that's another big part of it. Look, I'm looking at this season is that there's no way Tom Brady wants to go out like this. A losing record, a poor job, in that playoff game by everybody, on the team. And he's not immune to it. I mean, the play calling was terrible. They didn't have any balanced attack. So coaching could be different coming next season for that team. You're looking at a possibility that they just completely dismantle the team. And there's no way Tom Brady comes back to that.
All right. So Tampa's out. We consider Tampa out. Okay.
I consider Tampa out.
Well, who's in?
Okay. So now, to me, logically, there are 3 candidates. And I think we know the 3 candidates. Okay. Obviously, there's always a chance he goes back to New England to finish it off.
Slim chance.
Slim chance.
Yes.
Slim chance, right?
Yeah, very slim.
So that leads me to believe there are 2 places. Now, mind you, a lot of these teams without a quarterback, they're all going to want him.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be available.
But to me,
he's a free agent.
It's going to be either going home to San Francisco,
which makes no sense if Brock Purdy gets them to a Super
Bowl. Well, that's
right?
just it. So,
right, it's all going to depend on that
case.
part.
It depends on how if Purdy gets them to the Super Bowl, there's no chance Tom Brady goes back there because they're not going to. Because that'll give Jimmy G's walking papers.
Yeah, which he's going. It's a guarantee.
Right, and I think that's going to happen anyway. And Purdy either becomes the starter or the backup.
Yeah, because Trey Lance, we forget Trey Lance is still there.
So. No, I don't forget that.
No, I think a lot of people do, though. They're looking at the Brock Purdy situation now and saying, okay, well,
but if they go out this game,
okay,
if they lose to the Cowboys, I think San Francisco does want Tom Brady. Because then you go, oh, wait a minute here. We can get Tom Brady. We can let Jimmy G walk. We have Trey learning from Tom Brady, even though they're different quarterbacks. We know that. But Brock Purdy isn't that far away from a Tom Brady.
Yep, last pick in the draft. I mean, he's even lower than Tom Brady was at 199. Right. So he was, 2?
And he's pretty good. He's pretty good. I mean, it's all but said that Jimmy G will not be there. Like, I find it hard to believe.
Listen, I don't gamble. If I gambled, that would be 100% bet for me. No doubt.
Right.
I'd bet my house.
So if they lose
not that I really
this
like
game,
my house, but that's not the point.
If they lose this game, I think they would make a run at Tom Brady. And that's an option because that team's a great team. And who wouldn't want to be a quarterback for that team?
Yeah, they got all the talent in the world, defensively, offensively.
But obviously, if they go to the Super Bowl, there's no way they're even going to be interested.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Because then we have a quarterback that might even take over the starting role over Trey Lance.
He put you in a trance.
So then that would leave really one option in my book. And I'm not sure he'd want to really go there. And that is the Las Vegas Raiders. They have to have a line for him. He's not gonna sign anywhere without an offensive line. Nowhere. I think he'd even sacrifice if there was lack of receivers just to have a line.
Yeah.
Because he can make receivers better.
Okay.
I mean, you know this. I mean, come on.
So, so again, so you said San Francisco, possibility to New England. Who was the third team again? I'm sorry.
Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders. Okay. So,
The Raiders.
So again, though, you're looking at which team out of San Francisco's the only team that realistically you could say guaranteed could make the Super Bowl again next year. Because even with the Raiders, I mean, Josh McDaniels, we all assume because he was with him so long in New England that they got along and everything was great.
Right. I know.
Believe
me. You know, I mean, this is Tom Brady. He's going to want to go to a and you might even be able to throw in a couple of other teams.
So let me put it.
Why not Minnesota?
Right. We said, was it Bill Belichick or Tom Brady? Right. We've had that debate argument. Everybody in, the world has basically had that argument. But wouldn't it be more of Tom Brady running back to the same system he was in before if he goes to the maybe he doesn't do that because then he's saying he needs that system again to be successful. Right.
But I think he proved that he already won a
Super Bowl. Doesn't, but then why go back to the same thing that it's like.
Well, right. So
you know what I mean?
That's
you
why
go
I'm
back
saying.
to your ex-girlfriend afterwards.
Look,
and
that's
say,
why I'm saying.
I know her.
He's going to go to a situation where he has an offensive line.
Yeah, so it's not New England.
and possibly a receiver.
Yeah. Listen, I think the best option would be San Francisco, but again, it's all based on what they do.
Right.
And then you have to look at the fact of the Raiders, Devontae Adams, but again, how important is that to Tom Brady at this point? You said it, right? The wide receiver position may not be the number one option. It may be, let me get a line that I know can block. I can make guys around me better.
Right.
But listen, the one key to New England, and everybody's going to forget, they have the fourth highest amount of money to spend in free agency.
Right.
So they should be able to get some players. And that may be an interesting factor for Tom to say, look, I don't need the money. I got 300 plus million waiting as soon as I retire from football. I'm going to the booth. I got my money.
Yeah.
I can go to New England for less money and let's get one more in New England and really, put him on the map. He basically at that point, he's the greatest sports athlete in New England history, period. If he could do that.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's going to be interesting. I just think, if Tampa Bay had a good season, and they just couldn't match up right with Dallas, say, I think that would be a little different. But it was not a good season, and I don't think that sits well with Tom Brady. I mean, his desire, and I think he's going to take some time to think about this. And when it's all said and done, I don't think he's going to be happy with how it went.
I agree with you, but I also think that he's starting, from a human side.
Yeah.
But he's starting to see that, right? Like the cracks of he could do no wrong. At the same
time, how do you turn down $400 million?
Yeah. He could do no wrong, right? He could do no wrong in the past.
There's a lot of factors in this. Like, is there a possibility that they salvage their marriage?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we don't know.
We don't.
I mean, nobody knows. So if he wanted to get back with that what supermodel was it?
Yeah, some supermodel.
If he wanted to get back together, I mean, we don't know what he's thinking. I mean, there's no way of knowing unless he says it, and he's not going to say anything about his personal life. He's not going to do it.
Yeah, no.
And if that's the case, then that $400 million is going to look mighty fine, and he's going to say, "Hi, I made $400 million. What did you make?" I wear the pants now.
No, not even now. Close. Not even close, man. She's still making more money.
Yeah, I know. She's still making more than that.
Well, more than that. All right, let's talk some other NFL stories here before I lose you altogether. So there's been a lot of coordinator changes already that's happened, and I'm going to list them off, and you're going to let me know how surprised are you with each one of them.
Can
So
we
the
do
first
it one at a time so that way I don't
Yeah.
forget who they are?
Yes, we're doing them one at a time, my friend. Yes, we're not getting any younger. I don't expect us to remember
No,
everything.
we're not.
So first one, Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Surprised, not surprised.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. They were terrible this year,
So
and not using your running back basically.
15th overall offensively when it came to yards, second passing, 32nd, so worst team in the league when it came to running. I believe it was 76 yards a game.
That's terrible.
They just didn't, and they were 25th in points.
Yeah.
And I think Leftwich was more a holdover because of what happened with the situation with Bruce Arians and that hiring, that they didn't have time to go out and make changes.
Yeah.
So it made sense because he's made a lot of changes already in Tampa Bay. He let a lot of the assistants go. Greg Roman, the Ravens offensive coordinator.
Yeah, see, I'm a little surprised about that one because I mean, come on, you don't
And that
have
was
your
more his
quarterback.
choice. That was more his choice.
Yeah,
he stepped away.
Yeah, he stepped down.
So 16th offensively, 28th passing.
You know, that just screams to me
second,
one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
That Jackson is not going back.
Yeah, and that's the way I'm debating, though. Is that Jackson not going back, or Jackson saying, look, I need somebody that's going to allow me to throw the ball? You were 28th passing offense in the league.
Yeah, he had nobody to throw it to.
Right? So do they go out, get a wide receiver, and possibly get an offensive coordinator?
Well, this is why I'm thinking it's like, I'm not so sure it is, Jackson not wanting to be there with him. I think there might be a difference of philosophies with Jackson, the offensive coordinator, and the team.
Yeah, listen, we're going to talk about Lamar Jackson after this, but let's save it for that. What I will say is this: that team right now is constructed around Lamar Jackson, and that's what I think Greg Roman was doing. Look, you're second overall in the NFL in rushing because that's what you have. You have the best running quarterback in the league, and you built an offensive line that was built to run.
Right.
So we'll have to see if they change offensive philosophies. That may be a more indicative sign of where Lamar Jackson goes.
Yeah.
Josh Boyer, defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. So he's been there 3 years, but
that's a tough one because he is a holdover from the last coaching staff.
Yeah.
And that could be why he is the scapegoat. But I just think that's right now. I don't think that's a franchise that's doing a good job.
Yeah, but again, Brian Flores, defensive-minded coach when he was there. You see maybe that Brian Flores might have been more the reason the defense was successful.
Yeah, I know, but there's a problem there. And
I agree with you. Yeah, there's some things going on there. 18th defensively, 27th against the pass, 4th against the rush, 24th in points allowed. So defensively, they weren't very good, though.
Yeah, but they also didn't really have the personnel.
Yeah, and again, I thought they played pretty well in that Buffalo game in the wild card. I didn't think the defense was the reason. It was more offensively. They just couldn't figure out how to get the play calls in before the clock ran out. So maybe the offensive coordinator, which I don't know if Mike McDaniels is the guy that calls those plays. Ed Donatella, Vikings defensive coordinator. This is not a surprise. If you say surprise on this one, Ron,
no, there's no surprise.
Shut the show down now. Like
there's no surprise, but he is a Ninja Turtle.
Yes, he was. Yes,
Come on, that's funny. That's funny.
Good. That was pretty good. Listen, this defense was absolute garbage. This is the definition of if you want to ever teach a guy to be a defensive coordinator, throw on their tape of the Minnesota Vikings and say, don't ever do any of this. Don't do any of this. Because they were 31st defensively, 31st against the pass, 20th against the run, and 30th in points allowed. They didn't stop anybody. They won more close games than anybody in NFL history. They kept trying to put that point in. Okay, that just meant the offense played a lot better. It wasn't because the defense helped them out. It was because the offense just was able to put up 30-plus points and hold the other team to 29. Okay, like that's not how you win games consistently in the NFL. And it proved
making Daniel Jones look like he's an all-star doesn't help either.
He did look pretty good. Danny Dimes. I told you he was going to get paid. That was his game to get paid. He did it. Daniel Jones did it. Ted Downing, the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, that's not a surprise either.
Right? Another one. 30th offensively, 30th.
I think that team is going to get
a complete overhaul.
Yeah.
That team's changing.
Didn't they just hire a new general manager?
Yes. Yeah, from San Francisco. The guy from one of the guys from San Francisco. So, yeah, I could see a lot of changes there. Again, 28th in points, 30th in passing. They haven't been able to pass in the last, I can't remember how many years. All they do is run the ball, and this year they were 13th. You had the best running back in the league. You were 13th in rushing in the league. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
It's bad play calling. It is bad everything.
Yeah, that one had to happen. Joe Woods, the Browns defensive coordinator.
Yeah, see, I don't agree with that one.
Yeah, and their numbers weren't bad.
I think, I think this just goes to show you that, he was the scapegoat, and they're figuring anybody they can bring in is going to do the same job because of the talent they have. But when that defense was on the field a lot, and
their offense
can only stop people for so long.
And I will say this: would you say it's a passing league or a running league at this point in the NFL?
Well, I'd say passing. Yeah.
Right? They were 5th against the pass.
Yeah.
So the one thing that everybody's doing well, you shut down.
Yeah.
And overall, to your point, the offense was horrible.
It was terrible.
And this is why the defense didn't produce. There must have been another reason why they did this move. Either he didn't get along with the coach, his philosophy didn't work, but I think this is going to be a mistake for the Browns.
It is.
Scott Turner, the Commanders' offensive coordinator. See,
not surprised.
This is a raw deal.
I'm not saying it's his fault, but I'm not surprised.
Dude, what are you giving this guy? Carson Wentz. That's your upgrade. That's your upgrade at quarterback.
This is the thing. It's like, okay, so Washington is a mess. They've been a mess for many, many years. What he had to work with. I mean, okay, can you even name 5 offensive players on that team?
No. And I know they got a good wide receiver. I can't remember his name.
Just saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Just saying. Look it up, people.
Like they had no talent.
I'm not going to give you the answers. Look it up.
Had no talent. That was a raw deal. I thought they made a mistake. They kept switching quarterbacks. They kept going back and forth. Couldn't make a choice.
Yep.
So I don't know. So out of these
those days where they had Kirk Cousins.
So out of these guys, and I can name them off again if you don't remember. Who do you think gets another job? Who's the first one out of this group that probably gets another job?
Oh, let me see.
Your Ninja Turtles out. We already can call that.
What's I'd say that defensive coordinator from Cleveland.
Yeah, Joe Woods. Joe Woods, Greg Roman, interesting one with Baltimore. Again, if you get him in a situation.
Yeah, but I like Woods because they're going to look at that number 5th against the pass, and
right.
And that's going to make people like say, I don't know, Carolina. Going to take a look at that and like, wait a minute.
Yeah, who has a good defense already, right? So changing philosophy, that'd be really good. So
I mean, just look at where the quarterbacks are, right? Wouldn't it make sense to hire him in, say, I don't know, the AFC West?
Yeah, look, right? No. Let's talk some Lamar Jackson here in the Baltimore Ravens. So they're in negotiations to keep the quarterback. Do you think they can work out a deal? Will Lamar Jackson be a Baltimore Raven next season?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think this is getting ugly quick.
And to be honest with you, how many games did he play last season?
I think he missed the last 6, including the playoff.
You see what I'm saying here, right?
Yeah, but so when he's on the field, listen.
He's going to be the best quarterback available.
Without a doubt.
Tom Brady comes, even if Tom Brady comes back in. As of
for
right now in their careers right now, he is the better quarterback, right? The problem is Injuries.
Yeah, but
That
go ahead. I'm listening.
that style that he plays,
But I will
and it
also
isn't
say,
just because he runs. It's just that he will not go down. You know, he's going to try to get every yard he can because that's his mentality. And I'm not saying it's the wrong mentality to have because that's what makes him great. And he is. He's fantastic.
look,
Like he can do it all.
he's dynamic. He's one
Right.
of the once in a generation quarterback.
But injuries
And I agree
puts
with you.
him
But
out
I
of
also
that
feel like
elite.
he didn't come back this season because
Because
of
I
the
think he's
contract.
better than Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, he didn't come back, and
Not even
I'm going to
close.
bring that up. I'm going to bring those numbers up. But I will say this: he didn't come back because of the playoffs, because of the injury. He wanted to make sure that he's going to get paid, and he knows if he came back earlier, and he could have damaged it worse, and then been out some point till next season, there might have been teams that weren't being interested. He did this for financial reasons because him and the organization couldn't figure out a deal.
Yeah,
he's
and I
like,
don't
"Why
blame
am I-"
him. Why would I blame him?
So you saying he missed games? I don't know if he missed games because of the injury or more of he had an excuse to say, "Look, I'm not putting myself on the field."
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then that's a little different, and then
And
that's a
that's
whole
where I
nother
set the question.
topic.
Listen, he's 45-16 in his career in 5 years.
Yeah.
63.7% completion percentage, 12,209 yards passing, 101 touchdowns to 38 interceptions. The man's putting up numbers. And then let's not forget, 4,437 yards rushing, a 6.1 yards per average, and 24 touchdowns. Who else is giving you that? What is Baltimore thinking right now? I get the injuries, but the last 2 years he's been hurt at the end of the season. They're 1-3 in the playoffs with him. That could be his only knock. But they're 4-8, including the playoffs without him since 2016. So they're under 4 games under 500. That's what you're going to be. You're going to be a 17-game season. You're looking at what? You know what I mean? Maybe 6-7 wins.
Yeah, they have a different team without him.
Right? So that's going to cost you.
Completely.
Here's where the league, and this is where I listen, I do this sometimes, and you can ask my family. I believe in conspiracy theories. I don't know why I do. But this is the way I thought about it. What division does he play in?
What's the
AFC
point?
North, right?
Yeah,
AFC North.
but what's the point?
Which teams are in the AFC North? One of those teams, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
And the Cleveland Browns?
Right.
Why did the Cleveland Browns sign Deshaun Watson to $230 million guaranteed contract? Because they knew they could ruin this organization by doing it. It's not about winning. Because if you look at Deshaun Watson's numbers, he's 38-21 in his career, and he's 1-2 in the playoffs. He's not better from a numbers standpoint than Lamar Jackson. They did this, I would say, because who cares if the Cleveland Browns win or lose? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But this affects now the Baltimore Ravens because they cannot sign Lamar Jackson for less than what they signed Deshaun Watson for.
Right.
The Cleveland Browns set this up. This was a setup from the beginning. They knew what they were doing when they did this Deshaun Watson deal.
Yeah.
Because tell me why they did it then. Based on his numbers? His numbers aren't better.
Based on the idiocracy of what the Cleveland Browns are. I mean, just look at their recent
Exactly.
history.
So nobody cared. Nobody cared if they made this move.
But they just do stupid things. Period.
Whoever signs anybody for $230 million, guaranteed, in the NFL, it doesn't happen. But guess what happened?
I'm just saying.
Now it's causing other players to have to do it.
Yeah, I just don't think that they know what they're doing in that front office. They go through coaches and quarterbacks, and it's just.
I'm telling you, it's a conspiracy.
No,
they did this on purpose. They don't care. They've ruined the Baltimore Ravens.
For that matter, then they ruined themselves too.
Which they don't care, though. It's the Cleveland Browns. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter to them. Huh? They could stink for the next 5 years with Deshaun Watson. Does anybody even think they're going to be good anyway? 0 people. 0.
Well, I don't think so because of karma. Now, karma, I think, is in a full effect there.
Listen, I'm telling you, Mark my words, they're going to stink for the next 5 years.
Well,
But
are they going to
Baltimore
stink? Of course, they're going to stink for the
and
next
the
5
Baltimore
years.
Ravens are going to lose Lamar Jackson and stink as well.
Yes.
This was a brilliant move by the Cleveland Browns.
And this is why Pittsburgh is still viable.
Right? Exactly.
All right. Tomlinson is laughing his butt off.
My goodness. So let's talk some divisional playoffs before we get into the rest of these sports. And
Playoffs?
Your thoughts on each one of these weekend's games. We are not picking a winner yet. We will do our predictions with my nice little hat on.
You do this all the time, and I always give it away.
You give a lot away, yes. You just
say what I feel.
You got to keep the yap shut. Okay,
no,
keep it
shut. I'm going to say how it is.
All right. Jaguars at the Chiefs. As much as I want to get into this and be like, oh, young team, right?
There's no getting into this.
Listen, the Cleveland Chiefs. Oh my God, Cleveland on the brain. Conspiracy. The Kansas City Chiefs are the new standard in the NFL. They're going to be that team. Like they're trying to go to their 5th straight championship game. They're going to be that team that's going to be there for the next 4 or 5 years. Give me a team that's not.
Just saying.
They're built for it. Listen, you plug and play with them now. Because of Patrick Mahomes, you can plug and play. Similar to what New England did with Tom Brady, and you can be successful. They get rid of their best wide receiver this year, and here they are again, the number 1 seed, vying for a championship game again. Everybody said they lose Tyreek Hill. This season's done. They're in trouble. They were more successful this year than they were with Tyreek Hill because now he's a better quarterback as well. No shot with the Jags. I don't think anybody's giving the Jags a shot other than Jaguar fans.
Well, you just gave away your prediction.
No, I'm saying I'm not. I didn't say I'm maybe I'm one of those Jaguar fans.
Maybe.
What about the Giants at the Eagles?
Wait, one of those Jaguar fans?
There's not a lot of them. They might have 2 or 3. I think people go more because they got a hot tub in the stadium, I believe, or pool or something, don't they? Are they one of those?
I don't know.
Teams as well. Giants at the Eagles.
And I didn't even give you my thoughts on that game.
You just go ahead. Okay, Jaguars at Chiefs. Ron, I apologize. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, without giving it away, the Jaguars are going to lose by like 20.
That's a prediction. You see?
All right, so I gave it away.
What can the Jags do to win this game? How about that? If you were going to say, listen, what's the one thing that the Jaguars can do well? Defensively, maybe pressure the quarterback, maybe a couple of turnovers. That could change the game. Listen, they're here for a reason, and they came back from 27 points down. So, again,
to the Atlanta Chargers.
Yes, but what I would say is this. If they want to stay in this game, this is not a team that they can afford to go down by 2 or 3 scores.
No, you can't.
Right? But if they can keep it close, anything's possible. So to say they don't have a shot, I mean, again, every team has a shot. Sure. It's just a matter of, well, it's true, right?
A shot in the dark.
It's still a shot, my friend. Where that bullet goes, who knows?
Yeah, okay. All right.
Giants at the Eagles. Go give your prediction, Ron. I guess so we could do it all over again.
Daniel Jones.
We don't see lightning strike twice. Was that right? Listen, I think him beating the Vikings gets him paid. I don't think they're better than the Eagles. I'm not saying they don't have a shot. These teams know each other well, and it's very hard to beat a team.
Barkley has to have
a game,
a massive
one of those
game.
And again,
massive.
And it's tough though beating a team 3 times because you got a lot of film, a lot of tape on both of these teams, and so I would say the Giants have a better shot than the Jags to win this game because I still feel too. We got to remember that Hurts injury, and he's not 100%. And if he takes a good shot,
so he's hurt.
He's hurt. Hurts is hurt. Or you can rent a car from him. I don't know. That's a different Hurts. But I would say you can look at it and say
but he's so good.
It hurts so bad.
No, hurts so good. John Mellencamp.
So yes. Hurts so good. Yes. Okay. What about the Bengals at the Bills?
That's going to be a game.
That is the game, right? That's the game.
That might be the best game of the playoffs.
But you got to say this: most people are probably secretly rooting for the Bills, because if the Chiefs and the Bills, you get that Chiefs Bills matchup in the championship game, and I think a lot of people want to see that. But I will say this: the Bengals, I think, have a better shot than the Bills to advance here. I just think with that experience, Burrow, the way he's playing, their receiving group, I still think the Bills didn't play a very good game. I think mentally, look, if not for 2 touchdown returns for kickoffs against the Patriots, they lose. If the Miami Dolphins weren't vaping on the sideline instead of calling offensive plays, they probably lose that game and aren't even in this game. They haven't played 2 solid weeks.
Well, it was a close game, and they didn't even have their starter or their backup.
Exactly. And you put in the fact that, look, I think since that Hamlin injury, as much as they've won, they haven't looked as crisp, right? They kind of have something there. So I don't know. I think the Bengals have the advantage here. I think they do. I'm not saying they win the game. That's not a prediction. I'm saying is I think of these 3 games or 4 games, this one, I say to me, it speaks more to
This is a coin toss to me. And look, offensively, I actually give Cincinnati the edge. I give them the edge.
I agree.
Because, well, they have 2 dynamic receivers. They also have a really good running back that can do it all out of the backfield.
Yep, Mixon. Yep.
And Burrow got them to the Super Bowl last year, and he had no line.
Yeah. Although there's a key too. 2 of their offensive linemen are already out for the game.
Well, I know.
So remember that. Remember that for the end of the show. What about the Cowboys at the 49ers?
Should be a pretty good game.
Bring back the 90s, baby. Yes.
I hope it's a good game.
This is 90s football
San Francisco, though, that defense, man. That defense is pretty good.
No, not doing it. Look, this is one of those rivalries.
Defense.
This is one of those rivalries that it was fun in the 90s. It's not so fun anymore. The talent on San Francisco outweighs Dallas's, and I know people are going to get pissed off about it.
You look at that Dallas Tampa Bay game. Dallas only had to watch one thing, and that's the pass. That's all they had to do. That's all they were worried about, is if Tom Brady had time to pick them apart. This is not going to be the same animal. This is a well-running machine on offense. And when you say, okay, you have Christian McCaffrey, most teams, that is going to be your best player. That is just not the case here.
Yeah, no.
I mean, this offense is scary, and they can do it any which way on the field. Whether it's McCaffrey throwing, running, catching, it's Deebo Samuel running, throwing, catching. You have Kittle. Look, this team is just so good, and they protect well. They do it all well. They run their routes like brilliantly. Then you got to talk about that best defense. I mean, that is going to be different. Like Tampa Bay actually didn't play too poorly defensively until it reached the breaking point.
Yeah, when Tampa's going 3 and out and giving the ball back,
right. You can't keep defending, perfectly then. But this isn't going to be the case with San Francisco not being able to move the sticks. And when that team is going to be fresh, and you have Bosa and all the rest of them coming at you, we've already talked about Dak Prescott having a lot of interceptions, a lot of mistakes. He's going to make those mistakes in this game. Mark my words on that. He's going to make mistakes. And San Francisco is a team that can capitalize on that.
Yeah. And I will say this too, Kyle Shanahan versus Mike McCarthy.
Right.
I would take Kyle Shanahan.
Oh God, yeah.
Every
it's
day,
not even close.
Yeah. Whew. All right, my friend.
Dak might have won that game in spite of McCarthy.
A couple more weeks and we got no more NFL. This tied up 40 minutes of our show today.
Holy macaroni.
Right. All right. Well, it's time for
grounded to third. There's one. There's two. There it is. It's a triple play.
It's triple play time, my friend. And we are going to decide who we start, bench, and cut from these three individuals. They are the leading goal scorers currently in the NHL, and that's Connor McDavid, David Pastrnak, McGregor, and Tage Thompson. You are first this week, so you get to lead us.
This is an interesting one. Because normally I can say, hey, I'm just going to pick out the guy who brings home a championship, right? It's a little more difficult than that.
Yeah, because you are definitely a ring follower, chaser.
Yes.
You're one of those.
I like ring bearers on my team.
Yes, you do. Ha ha
ha. Frodo.
My precious. Yes, go.
My precious. Look, I mean, despite, the closeness of goal leaders, you have to kind of take Connor McDavid. I have to start him. Like, he is, look, when you talk about great players, and he hasn't blossomed into that champion yet. But it kind of really is.
That's more about what's around him.
That's kind of not his fault here. And we've been saying it for years now. You can't win a championship if you can't play defense. And right now, this team cannot play any defense. But he is the best player in the world. Right now, the best player. Sorry, Sydney. You're not even in the top 10.
Here we go again.
Right now, he is the best player on the planet. I mean, his speed, his skill, his vision, it's all in that package. And it is tough to argue with that. And so I go Connor McDavid.
McGregor.
I almost said it too.
Yes.
I almost said it. I go with him as my starter. So then that leaves the other two guys. Okay, so we have Pasta and we have Tage, right? I would love to have all three of these guys on the same team, on the same line. That would be unbelievable, right? But you have to cut somebody, and that somebody is going to be Thompson because he's never really come from a winning team in the NHL, and Pasta is.
Yeah.
And Pasta knows how to win games, and he's done it quite a lot, especially lately. I mean, 35 goals on the season is no joke, and he's going to probably break all his career highs for everything. He's an incredible player. I think easily top 5 player in the league right now. Easily. And it's all around because he's good defensively too. And that there's no substitution for that. And he learned from Bergeron how to play defense. So, he can play. He plays every game, every shift, the way you want somebody to play. And so he has to be on my bench. And unfortunately, I have to cut Tage Thompson.
Very good, my friend. I had it exactly the same way.
Yeah, it should be that way.
Connor McDavid, in 8 years, 278 goals, 505 assists.
Yeah.
Plus 94, 5 All-Stars, 59 game-winning goals. So the guy can, late in a game can get it done. He's got 39 goals so far this season. So you think about they're a little more than midway through. He's on pace for 70 goals.
Yeah.
Plus, Pastrnak, same thing, about 70 goals. 9 years in the league, 275 for goals, 292 in assists. I think Draisaitl has a big part of McDavid's success, though, with the assists as well, because again, another great goal scorer. But again, I think just 6 years, Tage Thompson just hasn't, if you look at the numbers, 88 goals, 75 assists. He's a minus 44, but we can say that's a result of the team he's on and not being very good. But he just hasn't done enough for me to say I would want him on my team.
He's an up-and-comer, though.
Yeah, I would say, listen, Pasternak as my bench, coming off my bench, I would be like, wow, look, I got McDavid who's going to probably put it in the net. If not, Pasternak's right behind it, going to make it happen. So
yeah.
I think,
and look, like Eric, when you talk about the greats, okay, you talk about Wayne Gretzky, dominates a league, right? Mario Lemieux dominates a league. Even Steve Yzerman dominates a league. Like, their points are just way up there. And they all took time to be a champion. They all took time.
Yeah. You got to get the right pieces.
And
especially
I don't know if it's ever going to happen in Edmonton for McDavid, because it just doesn't seem like they're really giving him what he needs. And that is going to get frustrating. I'm just saying, that dominating type of game where he is clearly the best player is rare.
Yeah.
It's rare. He leads in points every year. Year.
Yeah, this is why this gets difficult to do a hockey one, because he's at the top we'd be doing this every week. He's never not a leader, and when it comes to goal scoring.
And that's why I made the crack about Sidney Crosby, because he's never dominated the league. He's led the league in points twice. But so is Malkin. So he doesn't dominate. I mean, look, he's a hell of a player. He's a great player. He's a Hall of Fame player to be. But he's not dominating.
You wouldn't give him a Hall of Fame now while he's playing? No, we're not getting back into that argument.
Nope.
All right, let's talk some NBA action. And we're going to bring up the possible candidate for MVP here, and that's Jason Tatum. So the Boston Celtics have won 8 straight with their win over Golden State last night.
Where's his diaper?
I don't even ask why. Where's his diaper? Where's whose
Isn't
diaper?
that Draymond right there?
That is Draymond.
Okay, that's what I was saying.
Should this team be considered the favorites in the East now once again? They have the best record in the NBA. Listen, 34-12 on the season, 118.8 points per game, which is second. They're number one in point differential, 6.3 points per game. So they're actually beating teams better than any other team. Fourth in blocks, sixth in rebounds. They're 18-5 at home. They're 4.5 games ahead of the Bucks and the Sixers. Jason Tatum, I know you don't want to believe it, but this is the year where you've seen that growth and maturity that we haven't seen. He was struggling last night against the Golden State Warriors, and they kept talking about it during the whole broadcast. And into the third quarter, all of a sudden he hits a big three. Next thing you know, he's making plays. He's driving to the lane. He's shooting free throws. He was 10 for 10, I think, at the free throw line. Like, he's changed his game to understand, look, I can't just keep shooting if I'm off. I need to take it to the hole. I'm going to get the calls now because they're considering me one of those superstars. That's the difference that we haven't seen in Boston with him. He's a different kind of player.
Yeah, I mean, look, fourth quarter, that's what we need to keep seeing from him. When you looked at last season, and I believe I mentioned this not too long ago, actually, that it could be the driving mechanism, by losing to Golden State last season in the finals, where they couldn't do anything. And he was a big part of the blame in that fourth quarter in those games, where he would just dribble it out of his hands, turning it over in the fourth quarter, and that hurts. That really hurts. Now, if that is cleaned up, that is great. If he can do the things that he needs to do in the fourth quarter, and it doesn't necessarily mean be the guy that scores all the time.
No, facilitate, get the ball, right?
Exactly.
Like, he's doing that as well. What's he 4.3 assists per game, 8.5 rebounds per game. He had
Yeah.
19 rebounds last night.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, that's
Scored
what you want to see.
Yeah, he scored 51 points on Monday against the Charlotte Hornets.
Yep.
And there wasn't a player that could stop him. Like, that's the stuff that we're starting to see from Jason Tatum.
Yeah,
It's not that.
And look, I hope that continues because that makes everything interesting. It puts a new light on things when it comes time for playoffs. And you got a guy like KD coming in or a guy like Giannis coming in, then you're talking, well, who is going to score more? Who is going to lead the team?
Who's going to dominate that game?
Right.
And look, 10th overall defensively. So they're starting to improve defensively, which is good. You're seeing Robert Williams now come back into form. It seems like he had a pretty good game again. And then Malcolm Brogdon is up for the sixth man of the year award because he's just dominating when it comes in this game. Yeah, that was a great pickup.
Well.
Great pickup.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Look.
Probably Brad Stevens' best move.
It's
really has.
Look, to say things in the regular season, and I go through this with the Bruins as well. Saying
it matters what you do in the postseason. Yeah,
it's one thing.
Agreed.
Let's
see what the post. Yeah, let's not pump the brakes. I get it. Pump the brakes, Eric.
Right.
But what I would say is this: in the East, I feel like they probably are the best team right now.
I think it's a 3-team race. To be honest with you, in the East, they have the advantage because they have the better defense.
Yeah, and they're ahead right now. Bucks and the Philadelphia 76ers are the two teams that are chasing them.
I don't consider Philly a true contender.
I'm just saying in the conference. So the 4.5 games back, both of them.
Yeah.
Another big game this week against Miami. So we'll see how Boston does with that. And can they continue to beat those teams that they struggled with in the past? So great discussion there on the NBA, but we're gonna talk some Major League Baseball.
Who?
That's still around. It's not as exciting right now, but 6 teams are going to pay the luxury tax, which I believe
I actually like the off season more than I like the season. If that makes any sense.
These are the teams that are going to pay the most or have to pay the luxury tax. And which of these teams has to win now next season? Like,
that's an easy choice.
Dodgers are going to pay $32.4 million. New York Mets, $30.8 million. New York Yankees, $9.7 million. Philadelphia Phillies, $2.9 million. The San Diego Padres, $1.5 million. And the Boston Red Sox, $1.2 million.
Wait, what was this? Did I just see the Pittsburgh Pirates and Kansas City Royals owners do a high five?
Because they keep selling. They never pay.
Look at all the money we're going to bring in.
I think they said the Oakland A's had the lowest possible payroll. It's almost broke a record.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, but if you had to say, look, of these teams, which one of them, like, which teams have to win now based off of the fact that they're putting money?
There's 2. And for, I think, obvious reasons, that would be Philadelphia and San Diego. I think they need to win now because they can only spend so much money being in a smaller market, especially San Diego. It's a small market and they got some big payrolls right there. So I would say those two would be big. Quite large.
Yes, they could be. Yeah. So the Mets, right? The Mets have to be that team, right? They've just basically sold out this year.
No, but I don't think that's as important because the Mets generate money. They generate money, but San Diego and Philadelphia, that's a little different. Their payrolls are way up there.
I disagree. Listen, Philly's been there. Philly got there recently. So at least you can ride that for a little bit. So is the Red Sox and so has the Dodgers.
Right, I understand.
The Yankees haven't been there since 2009.
I understand that, but they can withstand the luxury tax and next year pay more.
But what I'm saying is if people start to look as a business owner, I'm investing money, I'm putting more money in than I have to because I'm paying out all this money.
Right.
We need to win. At some point you need to win.
Yeah,
and not to win.
I disagree.
The Padres haven't been there since 98, Ron.
Right. That's why they
need to get there.
For them to win.
Agreed.
Because fans will leave. Yankee fans aren't going anywhere. They don't care. They will go
I care.
anywhere.
I care. I can't. I'm a Yankee
will
fan.
play.
No matter what you see on this show today, I am a Yankee fan.
No,
And that's, you got to
no,
believe that.
Not today, you're not. Not
I
today,
am.
you're not.
I am. So
Not
yeah,
today.
I agree with you. The Padres. I had the Padres, the Yankees, and the Mets. And I think
had
the
the
Mets.
Padres and Phillies. They need it because their payrolls are so high. It's only a matter of time before they retool and they go back to the bottom.
Yeah, they become the Florida Marlins, just sell out again and just
Yeah.
basically start all over again. But the Mets thing to me, Steve Cohen's throwing a lot of money out there. Yeah, Sports Unfolded, we're taking any kind of sponsorship. So Steve Cohen, if you're out there, we'll plug the Mets all day.
You gotta love those Mets, man.
We would love the Mets. Love them. Love them. Love them. I'll even wear a Mets hat.
Look, I've been saying that I could use a new team to root for.
This is his chance.
About Bogarts. So if it's the New York Mets that steps up and say, hey, Sports Unfolded, we will sponsor you.
Sports Unfolded being brought to you by the New York Mets.
The hand is already out there ready to shake.
Can hear the rings right off. All right, my friend. It is face-off time.
We talk about it all the time. Break a clean face-off win.
So this week is interesting because I know sometimes we debate on what players should be able to do with a team. Should they have a choice on head coaching hires in any sport? So this Kyler Murray situation in Arizona, where the owner basically said, we'll talk to him, but he doesn't ultimately make the decision, right? Which I think makes sense, but could go either way. Should players have a say on who gets hired as the next head coach? One of us has to be for this and one of us has to be against this. You are first this week, my friend. So the floor is yours.
What's the
players having a voice on who the next head coach should be, or they should not be involved in the decision-making for a head coach?
And this is a debate?
Yes, one of us has to be for it. One of us has to be against it.
I'm going to be against. Players shouldn't have any say. I'm sorry. Who are you? You're a player on the team. You should not pick your head coach. That's just absurd. It's absurd, and frankly, I'm kind of insulted that you put this as a question.
Good. I'm glad, because I want to ask you this question. Who's the head coach of the New England Patriots?
I don't know yet.
The head coach?
He might not be.
Okay. I'll give you another. Who's the head coach of the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, well, he.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so
pick a team. Pick a team.
Okay, so Belichick. All right.
Pick a team.
All right, so Belichick. He's the coach.
How much money does Bill Belichick revenue that player doesn't? Tom Brady sold more jerseys, I'm sure, than we saw hoodies in New England.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, he's probably
There's
not.
There's a lot of hoodies out there.
All right. Let's go with another coach, okay? We could go with a different coach. Lovie Smith, who was the Houston Texans.
Oh, come on. He got fired.
Okay. Deshaun Watson. Who's the head coach of Cleveland? Do you even know?
Who cares?
Exactly. Kevin Stefanski. Right? So what I would say to you is this. The players are going to dictate.
No, the players.
But they're going to make you money. As an owner, they make you the money.
No,
they're the ones bringing in the money, those fans.
Do you think that Drew Bledsoe was asked, hey, who do you want to be as your head coach? No.
You know what happened, though? Yeah, with Bill Parcells, what happened?
And
that's exactly what happened. They ended up wanting Pete Carroll at the time, who wasn't ready to be an NFL head coach, because they wanted a softer, kind of coach. They picked that. That was their pick. That was the players' pick.
Right. And look the results. The results were horrible.
But they have a right.
Players should never pick the coaches because it just isn't the right thing for a franchise to do.
Oh, when a player does something great outside on the community,
okay,
they represent the organization.
You want to do comparisons? You want to do comparisons?
Go ahead.
Okay, so let's do this comparison. Should prisoners pick the warden?
He broke the law. No, that's a different scenario. Are those prisoners making money?
It's not a different scenario.
Yes, it is, because we're talking about financially.
No.
Financially, those players put money in that owner's pocket. They put money in their pocket.
Matter. You should not pick your coach.
Are the Lakers a good organization right now? No, right?
No.
But LeBron James puts fans in the stands to put money in the owner's pocket.
And
so you're
who
saying
picked
that,
the coach?
and then if LeBron James wants to go to some charity
Picked the
event,
coach.
it's some charity event and represent
the
the
coach.
organization,
And look at the results.
that's okay. But if he wants a decision on the coaching staff, you're saying he can't have that?
He shouldn't.
Why not? He has to play for this
Because
guy.
He is a player. A player needs to have somebody in place that is going to dictate to those players what they need to do. Okay? And no matter how you slice it, you can't just have a pushover in there. And that's what players are going to do. They're going to pick a guy
Not
that
necessarily.
really
They may
isn't
want a guy
even
that
going to
wins.
run the club.
They want a guy that they know, they're familiar with, can run.
And to put that back into perspective,
yes,
the,
here we go.
the
Is this a
inmates
prisoner
will be
thing again?
running the prison.
Here we go. You are
Inmates will be
absolutely,
running
you
the
are
prison.
out of your
And
mind
this
right
is the
now.
problem with the NBA right now.
Because that
That's the
prison's making
problem.
a ton of money for that prison. So they should have the choose the warden. That's not what we're talking about.
But that's what you're saying.
They represent an organization in every other aspect except when it comes to making a decision.
Right.
That doesn't make sense to me.
No, it does. It does.
No, it doesn't. You were going to say it.
No,
Thank
I
you.
said no, it does.
So, Ron, let's go on to some NHL. Let's bring up your buddy here. And I will ask you this question. Is the NHL getting soft? Because there's reports out there now that they're saying they may give Patrice Bergeron some load management. Similar to like the NBA, have him sit a couple games here, take a game off, maybe not play as many games to rest him for the playoff runs. Do you agree with this?
Well,
Would you do this?
I don't think they're going to that extreme.
Okay, so what's load management mean?
Load management is basically your time on ice in, certain situations. And truth be told, I've already known they've been doing this for the whole entire season. When you look at Patrice Bergeron,
Yeah.
he is out there for what? Face-offs, power play, penalty killing, during the best teams players on ice. If you look at some situations this year,
Getting a little choked up talking about Patrice Bergeron. See?
Yeah. He's playing a lot less penalty killing because they've had guys like Noshik out there more, Charlie Coyle out there more, even DeBrusque when he wasn't injured. Marchand is playing, of course, and even his time is diminished on the penalty kill. And you have guys like Frederick stepping up. You have other guys that have played on the power play that are younger, and that, in effect, is controlling the load management. And you can say that all you want, but I've seen out there in crucial times where it was Charlie Coyle and Noshik taking face-offs, because they're doing just as good, and I think the team has been working with them, and Charlie Coyle has improved a lot.
Okay. So he's second on the team in goals. He's taken the second most shots on the team, 155.
Yep.
He's eighth on time on ice with 1753.
Right. So you see that, right?
What I'm saying to you is this, though. At 37 years old, that's the production you're going to continue to get from him. When you're 12 points ahead of Carolina in the conference, do you really need him to be that much on the ice, or can he not take a couple games off? He's played in all 45 games.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I think you would want him to take. Listen, it's an 82-game season, 75-ish to me over the next. So the next whatever, what has he got?
Yep.
37 games. I would take 7 of those games off.
Yeah, and when it comes time to do something like that, they may.
And you said this better than anybody else could ever say it in the last segment with the Celtics. It's not about what they do in the regular season right now.
Right.
And I think for the Bruins, they could have the best record overall in the history of the NHL, right? They're chasing it. And if they get that, and then they say, oh, well, Patrice Bergeron played all 82 games, and then in the playoffs, they lose, you know what I mean, in a 7-game series, how does that benefit them
Right,
nobody
and
cares.
this is what they've been doing. So in late games, when they've had say a 6-0 lead over the Anaheim Ducks or something like that, you don't see him playing as much, and that in itself is what you need. So you're not going to see him out there with like 5 minutes left in the game. That's just how it is. So yes, I understand he's played in the game, but it's not going to be like that stressful time where you don't have to be out there. And so those times are really limited now because
So
of the way the season is
yeah.
panning out.
So your load management in the NHL, you would say, is different than the NBA, where it's not taking games off. It might be less time on the ice, or
Yeah,
only during crucial
look,
situations.
look. To be honest with you, the difference between a hockey player and a basketball
Oh
player.
boy, you're gonna piss some people off. I can already feel it. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, but that's true.
Go ahead.
It's true. I'm just saying, hockey players want to be out there.
No, I got you. I got you. Listen,
They want to
if
be
they
there.
can manage it enough, where look in the playoffs, if he has to step up his minutes right on the ice at that point,
Yeah.
to me that makes more sense. So
Yeah.
yeah, if
If
you
you-
hold him
if
back
you-
now a
yeah.
little bit to say,
Like,
look, later
just
on,
saying that he's 8th on the team in time on ice, that's saying something, because normally he'd probably be 3rd,
And-
probably behind the 2 key defensemen, and then it would be him.
and then could this be also look good possibility he comes back next year, and we want to make sure look we still have
Yeah.
an opportunity for that. So
Yeah.
all right, great talk on the Bruins there, my friend. And I want to thank my wife for this next one, because here's our next segment. And we little audio. We got to get some Hispanic flavor in there. So she's gonna roll in our next segment.
Get ready for the pick and roll.
Get ready for the pick and roll, my friend. It is pick and roll time. I am excited about this one. So it is episode 3, and we always try to have the number.
Are we paying her?
I can't discuss that. Oh, believe me, I pay every.
I didn't
pay-
sign any contracts or anything.
I pay every single day. Believe me, you don't. Don't worry, and I'm probably going to pay for that comment as well. So yeah, we're gonna. Believe me, I'm paying.
Oh, that's fine.
So
Oh my god,
we are going to
All right,
rank
so-
these 6 players. They all won they've all won. Sorry, 3 batting titles in their career. There's only one current player still on this list, so he may win more later on. But right now he's at 3. And there were more, but these are the more current ones from at least the 70s up. So we're going to rank them 6-1, and they are Jose Altuve, Joe Mauer, Larry Walker, George Brett, Pete Rose, and Kyle Yastrzemski. You are first, my friend, this week. So
Okay,
you go
so-
6-1.
So I have one question for you.
Go ahead.
Is any of these players tied to steroids?
No.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
I don't know. Altuve cheated. Pete Rose cheated. Either way you look at it, but okay. But go ahead.
Okay. So
if that's the case, they should be 6 and 5 on your list.
yeah, and you know what's funny? I did all this research and I never put them in order. I'm looking. It's like, wait, where did I do it?
I can't with you sometimes. What is wrong with you? You're out of control.
So at number 8, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Number 8.
Number
Ron's
6.
making his own pick. He's adding people.
Number 6, I would have to say, looking at these numbers, I'm going to say Jose Altuve.
Okay.
I'm going to say Altuve. Looking at the numbers, it's going to be Altuve. Now, when I look at these, I'm looking at these players, and I know all these players pretty damn well, right? And I see lots of numbers. When you look at Altuve, 1,935 hits, 307 lifetime batting average, which is fantastic. Fantastic. The runs, 986, 696 for RBIs, 279 stolen bases, by the way.
Not bad.
1 MVP, 8 All-Stars, 2 World Series championships, which is important.
Mm-hmm.
1 Gold Gloves, 6 Silver Sluggers, 3 batting titles, of course.
So he's won 2 championships. You got him at 6.
Yes.
And there's guys on here that didn't win any. So I'm just curious
Yes.
because that ring chaser thing's conveniently only when you want it to be. But go ahead. 6.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The thing that he has an advantage on, he's still there.
Yep, still playing.
He's still playing, and
I'm sure he's
I
going to hold
think-
on to that. Wait, they're
Look.
going to, you know what the Astros are going to do? They're going to show him this clip before the season. And he's got, you know what? I got to, Ron said I'm 6th on this list. And you're going to motivate them to win another one. But go ahead.
Yeah. But I think he is going to move up this list.
Okay. Even though he
With
cheated.
that being said, right now, he's 6th.
Cheater.
Number 5, I have Joe Mauer.
Go ahead. I'm just listening, man. I'm just going to enjoy this one.
2,123 hits,
Mm-hmm.
143 home runs, 306 lifetime batting average, 1,018 runs, 923 RBI, 388 on base percentage, second highest on the list. 1 MVP, 6 All-Stars, so less. 0 World Series championships, 3 Gold Gloves, however,
Mm-hmm.
5 Silver Sluggers, 3 batting titles. I just like his runs and RBI totals right now, and he is going to be the first guy that Altuve passes on this list. So I expect that right now, though. I'll take Mauer and, those 3 Gold Gloves. Gold Gloves, man, that defense is really good. So number 5. Here's where it
You're
gets
at 4.
really,
Yeah. Okay.
really tricky.
Okay.
Because I think these guys are all great players.
Yeah.
And
Number 4.
and I actually can't believe I'm going to put number 4, George Brett.
You're off. I can't with you right now. This is getting worse and worse.
Sorry.
This is
Sorry.
your worst pick and roll ever. But go ahead.
Oh wait, no, I forgot Larry Walker. I'm sorry. I forgot Larry Walker. Larry Walker is number 4.
So
Larry
Walker 4, George Brett 3.
Yes.
So 1 and 2.
All right. So
skip
1
it
and
over
2.
'cause you're
All right.
horrible.
You want to skip over their numbers? Okay,
You're
that's
horrible.
fine.
It's not even a legitimate list. So
Number 2 is Carl Yastrzemski.
okay.
You didn't think I was going to put Carl Yastrzemski there, did you? Carl Yastrzemski. So let's look at his numbers. 34, 19 in hits. Second on this list. Second on the list.
Mhm.
And if you want to go deeper into metrics, his WAR is 96.5,
Oh, now
which
we got
is the
WAR.
best of this list.
Okay. Now we're doing WAR.
I'm just saying.
You got more things.
Home
that-
runs,
Home runs.
452. By
good.
far more than everybody on this list.
It's pretty good.
Batting average is the lowest on the list, 285, but I'll take that from a home run hitter.
Okay.
I'll take that. It's better than home run hitters nowadays.
Okay.
Runs, 1,816. Second on this list. RBIs, tops on this list by a lot. 1,844. He even had 168 stolen bases, which is pretty impressive.
Yes.
And on base percentage was 379, which was third on the list. You made me skip over the leader, but 18 All-Stars, an MVP, 7 Gold Gloves.
Impressive.
It is impressive. 3 batting titles, of course, and he is the only player to win the Triple Crown.
Yes.
The only player on this list to win the Triple Crown.
Yes, sir.
And all of that, I still put the guy I don't like at number one. And that is Pete Rose. But it's hard to argue with 4,256 hits.
Kind of can't.
You know, still chipped in with 160 home runs, considering he's not a home run hitter.
Mm-hmm.
A 303 lifetime batting average, which was almost the lowest of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, one guy who's 20
But
points.
2,165 runs scored is
nothing.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He was always scoring runs. 1,314 RBIs, not bad for a guy at the top of the lineup. 198 stolen bases. On base percentage was 375. He has a thing called a World Series MVP.
Yeah, played the best. Yeah, pretty good.
17 All-Stars, one less than Carl Yastrzemski, but way more than everybody else. 3 World Series championships. It got to go. I had to go with that. And I know Altuve won 2 of them, but I think he's just got more to do. He's got more to do.
Yeah, Yastrzemski though, man, those 0 championships. Really
I know,
but
he's just a dynamic player, though. That's
okay.
That's the thing.
All right, here we go. Is this that look thing again? We have to look at it and see the.
Come on, he's won a Triple Crown. Like, give him.
That's it.
How many Yankees have won the Triple Crown?
Does a Triple Crown outweigh a championship? I just want to know.
How many Yankees have won a Triple Crown?
You told me championships matter.
You don't know, right? You don't.
Championships matter.
It does, but
okay.
But in a case like
that's your words, not mine. Yours.
When somebody's that dynamic, it's different.
Okay.
And frankly, there's no other players that match up to him that are behind him. Sorry.
Okay.
It just doesn't happen.
Okay.
He also won 2 Gold Gloves, a Silver Slugger, 3 batting titles, and he also won a Rookie of the Year as well. Yes. And I put Pete Rose as number 1, and I don't like him. You know, I don't like that he gambled on games, but that's different in this case.
Okay. Shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Anyway, that list was horrible. At 6, Joe Mauer. I agree with you. His numbers just, again, weren't. It's still a very impressive player.
It's still better than Altuve's numbers.
I went Altuve, though, at 5 because he's still active.
5 or 6, that's fine.
So I felt like that. At 4, Carl Yastrzemski. 285 batting average. How do you not consider that as a factor?
He's a slugger.
You got to consider that a factor. And he never won a championship.
Neither did Larry Walker. And you have him ahead of him.
Back, I put him 3rd at 313, the highest on this list. He had a 313 batting average.
I understand
and
that.
Still batted 383 home runs.
5 All-Stars compared to 18. Back then, actually, All-Stars meant something.
7 Gold Gloves, which tied 3 Silver Sluggers.
Yeah.
He won an MVP as well. I mean, so Larry Walker's
so
numbers
did Carl
aren't bad.
Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski had a Triple Crown.
I get it.
He led in all the categories.
I get it, but I can't go. That's 30+ points.
Look at those home runs.
Average.
452 home runs. 452.
It's 70 off. Larry Walker.
Wow.
At 3. George Brett, 2. I can't believe it. The championship. Again, his numbers are better. 305, 3,154 hits. You have 300 less hits than
Yastrzemski had more.
300 less. 300 less. It's not a lot.
Oh my God, you don't even know what you're talking about anymore.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
You have no clue.
At 285, you take over a guy that's batting 305.
When you have those RBIs and those runs scored that are 600
and how
more
can you
total
mention
runs?
How many seasons did these guys play?
600
Because usually that's your thing too.
600 more total runs produced. 600 more. 600 more.
Then who? Oh, runs. I'm talking. I thought you meant RBIs. I didn't do runs.
No,
Pete Rose said number 1.
And RBIs are considered
Pete Rose at number 1.
Runs produced.
Pete Rose number 1. I agree with you there. And I like him. He should be in the Hall of Fame. That is a better list.
That's not the better list.
That is the better list, my friend.
I'm sorry. I take Carl Yastrzemski over George Brett every day of the week.
Yeah, you do that.
Every day of the week?
Yeah, I know. The look.
Every day of the week.
I mean, George Brett wasn't dynamic.
I'm a George Brett fan, too.
All right, Ron. Ron, it is time for
But at least I know
predictions.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, okay. You didn't even have all the guys. You kept skipping guys. You don't
No,
you know what you're talking about.
I didn't get to talk about Larry Walker and George
You
Brett.
did. You started changing because I forgot Larry Walker.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. All right. You ready for this, or do I not have to do it? Yeah, we're gonna do it.
And Larry Walker is easily forgettable.
Are you ready?
Sorry.
Are you ready? Yes. No. Prediction time.
Yeah, please. You should have been wearing it the whole show.
That is not how that works.
That's
Okay,
what you're going to have to do next year. Because it's certainly looking like that already.
Oh boy, it's early. There you go.
That's it?
That is your Red
Where
Sox
the hell's the
hat.
jersey?
There is never going to be a jersey.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, I feel like I got cheated. And all you fans out there, you guys know. You guys know. He was supposed to wear a jersey. He was supposed to wear it for the whole show. Like, this is just a farce. It's a farce.
This was last week's results. I went 5-5. You're 4 games ahead now, 8-2.
Already.
Manny,
2 weeks
Manny,
already, 4 games ahead.
13.
You're not even beating
4.
fans.
Kenny, Chakra, rough week. Unfortunately, not here. That would be nice to have him on, because then we could have definitely made sure that we could up that average to 2-6. So if you like, and you're joining us live right now, as we give our weekly games, just chime in who you're picking. All right. Good week for Kenny as well, too. Kenny 7-3.
Yeah, he's ahead of you too.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm okay. It's a long season, my friend.
Yeah, it is a long season, and I'm not even sure you're going to get back to if you're going to stay above 50%.
That's okay. I'm
karma,
okay
man,
it. Karma. Yeah, because last year I had a big lead and you came back and won it. So that's all. Maybe I'm doing a reverse this time.
No, I doubt it.
All right. So you were first this week. The Memphis Grizzlies at the Sacramento Kings. That's on January 23rd.
I just feel so sad for this. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this isn't even right. It's not even right.
That was the agreement with a hat. It was never a
jersey. It was the jersey.
No,
the whole
it was not. No, it was not.
You were supposed to be a fan wearing it the whole show.
Look, I'm wearing this nice hat. Nice hat. That's yes. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. I'm so excited right now.
All right, what's the first one?
Memphis at Sacramento Kings. Right, January 23rd.
I'm going Memphis. It's just Kings are right now overachieving. I don't care what you say.
Number 1 scoring team in the league, but I'm going Memphis as well.
I don't care.
Memphis has won 11 straight wins by the Grizzlies.
It's going to be another one here.
They're hot. They're hot right now. January 25th.
Wait, who'd you pick?
I said Memphis. I went Memphis as well. They're hot.
That's Memphis, how you get wins, by picking what I pick.
January 25th, Denver Nuggets at the Milwaukee Bucks. I like Denver here. I think Milwaukee's just been a little inconsistent.
Yeah, and that's why they're going to win this game. They're going to be at home, and they're going to beat the Nuggets.
Okay. January 25th, you got the Carolina Hurricanes at the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, I think the teams are both really, really good. So I'm going to lean towards the home team in this case, and I'm going to go Dallas Stars. It's a big game for Dallas Stars because they need to prove that they belong with these teams.
I agree with you. I think, look, Dallas at home, going against the East opponent. We know how the West has been against the East. They're going to try to prove that they are the best team in the West, and I think that starts with this victory. So I went Dallas. January 26th, you got the Boston Bruins at the Tampa Bay Lightning. I just think
Tampa Bay.
Go
ahead.
Tampa Bay is playing some good hockey, but nothing of what the Bruins are doing. The Bruins, every time you think they're going to fall off, they'll lose a game. They come back, they win 4 or 5 straight again. And I feel like, look, they're going to want to prove to the Eastern Conference that, look, Tampa Bay's run's over. They're gonna make a statement in this game, and they're gonna win in Tampa Bay, and the Boston Bruins win this game.
Yeah, I went with the Boston Bruins as well. It's hard to pick against them when they only have 5 regulation losses.
They just don't lose.
Lightning do play well at home, but I think the Bruins right now are just playing too well, even with some injuries.
Scalp's burning, by the way.
Good.
January 21st, you got the divisional playoff games. The Jacksonville Jaguars at the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Chiefs are going to make this game look like they were just on the field by themselves. Chiefs win. Big.
I'm going
20
Chiefs
plus.
as well. I'm going Chiefs as well. I don't know. I feel like the Jaguars just don't have a shot. January 21st, you got the New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, nice story of the Giants, what they've been able to do and accomplish in a year that they weren't expected to, but I think that ends here. I think Philadelphia just has enough talent to get by. It's going to depend on that Hurts injury. I think he's going to be healthy enough to at least get them past the Giants and go on to the NFC Championship game. So I'm going Eagles.
I'm going Eagles, but I don't think the Giants are a nice story. Frankly, I think the NFC stinks, and they were just reaping the benefits of it by catching some fire at the beginning of the season. But towards the end, they're not good, and this is going to be lopsided as well. Eagles big. I don't even care who's quarterback in there. They're still going to be better than Daniel.
Daniel Jones, baby. Danny Dimes.
Most overrated quarterback already this year. Overrated.
January 22nd, you got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Buffalo Bills.
This is going to be a really, really good game. I got the Bills winning it because that's who my pick was for the Super Bowl, and I'm sticking with them, and I'm going to take the Bills.
I think I had Tampa. I think I'm out of that too. Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going with the Bengals. I think they got something to prove, and they were up in that game before the injury, and they were moving the ball against that defense. I feel like they can still do that. They got dynamic wide receivers, and Joe Burrow's, I think, next level at this point. So I'm going Bengals. January 22nd as well, the Dallas Cowboys at the San Francisco 49ers. I am going San Francisco. I think Dallas had their moment. I just don't think they're as good as the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I'm going San Francisco. I think the Cowboys got lucky that they played a really bad Tampa Bay team. They got lucky.
Yeah.
And what you're going to see from the 49ers is going to be a different quality of a team that they're going to have to play against. And when the Cowboys have to play against a good team in the playoffs, we know what happens. They fold like a lawn chair. That's it. It's done.
I like the comparison. Ron, before we go on to our final thoughts, can you tell the fans out there if they'd like to sponsor the show, how they can do that?
I could do that. No, if you want to sponsor the show, I'm still sore, by the way. But
It was never a jersey.
yeah,
Ever.
it was.
I wouldn't agree to that.
It was. Yeah, because you knew you're going to lose.
I wouldn't agree to it.
Yeah. So if you want to sponsor the show, all you have to do is send us an email at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you all the information you need to know, but really the information that you need to know is that I believe it comes out to $7.02 if you sponsor the show for a month per episode. It's really nothing. So get involved. Put that put the email in your little computer or your phone or laptop or whatever device you have. Email us and say, hey, we want to sponsor this show because you guys are great entertainment and you guys really know what you're talking about. At least one of us do.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And no, look, it costs less than a dozen of eggs.
Yeah.
Well,
A
dozen of eggs. I spent $7.11 for a dozen of eggs the other day.
It's insane, dude. Everything's going up. Gas, everything, man. You think about it.
So
I would say this.
Get that there.
I would say this as well. Listen, we will put you on our social media sites and promote you as well.
Absolutely.
So a lot of different ways you can help us continue to grow. But appreciate, Ron, you going through that with the fans. And I do want to say this is probably going to be a bigger punishment because you know what's going to happen. You know how they always give you that one clip that stays on the YouTube before you play the video? It's going to be me in this dumb hat.
Oh, I hope. Oh, I'm going to put that as the picture. Oh,
yeah,
God, yeah.
Exactly. So there you go. So it lives on forever.
Yeah.
So, Ron,
that's going to be like a thing I'm going to promote.
Yeah, good. Our final thoughts don't necessarily have to be about anything that's in the sports world. It could be about anything going on in the world today.
This is
Ron, you are first this week, so if you'd want to give your final thoughts,
Absolutely. And we all know that you're going to have two of them
because I
because you
always
can't
do. I
do
can't
just
help
one
it.
final thought anymore. I don't know what it is.
I'm horrible. I'm a horrible person.
Yeah, I know it is. It's just all horrible. Look, my final thought goes out to Charlotte FC defender Anton Walks.
Oh, see, so I only got one now. Good job. Yes.
He died due to a boating accident. He's
Miami.
only 25 years
Yeah.
old.
It's a shame.
And it's unfortunate too. Look, he wasn't even, steering the boat. That he was not the boat operator. It was somebody else, and an 11-foot boat does not match up to a 46-foot Scarab cabin boat. And paramedics found him in the water. They brought him to shore, and they tried to, do CPR on him, and he ended up dying later from the injuries in the hospital. So rest in peace. Soccer fans mourn all over the place now.
Yeah, it's just, and it's unfortunate because it seems like a lot of our final thoughts have been this each week.
Yeah.
And there's
And
passing.
look, people out there, you just need to be careful. Look, because freak accidents can happen. I mean, just on the way home last night in the storm that came through, there was an accident. 3 cars, collide, and they're spinning out and all that. Look, your time is precious, and you gotta live your life, but be careful.
No, absolutely. Well said, Ron. Well said. My final thought's actually another unfortunate passing. That was Chris Ford, the former Boston Celtic player and coach.
Yeah.
Died at the age of 74. Just meant a lot to the organization from a player, and then as a coach, kind of after the Rick Pitino mess, he came in and kind of
Right.
brought back some stability
And that was a mess.
to Boston. So unfortunate. And just a fun fact out of this: the first player to ever hit a 3-pointer in the NBA, Chris Ford.
Was he?
So-
Was he?
Yeah,
That's
and you-
interesting.
right. And you think about what the NBA is now; it's a 3-point shooting league. That's all they do. He was the first one to ever do it.
So is he going to go into the Hall of Fame for that?
I don't know. I don't know if he is.
Like,
considered,
I'm not
but-
saying like
no,
as a
but
player.
as a
Just
I'm sure
but
it's brought up. Yeah,
that
that moment. Yeah, that
moment. That is
Yeah,
a
right.
big moment.
Right? Isn't that insane to think
Yeah, I
about?
think
Like,
it
if you
is.
think about where we are today, and
Look,
he was the
and-
first one.
And like you said, like the Boston Celtics have been hit hard in the past year and plus. I mean, lost Finch, another coach.
Yep.
And of course some greats. Like
Yep,
Bill
Bill
Russell's on my Mount Rushmore. Like
Yeah.
that hurts. That hurts.
Yeah. So
So
a lot of sad stories recently in just the sports world when it comes to players passing.
yeah, and it's like, at the end of the day, me and Eric just go at it a lot, on the show, and it's a lot of little jabs here and there. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we both have the same feel for the games that we watch.
Yeah.
And and all these players throughout history do mean something. Even if it's just one fan out there that connects with the player for whatever reason it is. And I'll be the first one, Chris Nyland, longtime Montreal Canadian. He played one season with the Bruins, and I remember this very well. Bruins Carnival, where you can go meet the players, and there was this big, huge line for Chris Nyland, right? And at the time, the girl I was seeing had a daughter, and she just walked up, bypassing that whole line, and just stood there next to that person first in line. Just looked up, and he looks up at me and smiles, and he's like, signs her little autograph book. It was priceless. It was a priceless moment, and I'm sure she's never forgotten that.
Yeah,
And
listen,
that's so he might not be the best player in the world, but at that moment he was.
yeah, and I can remember too. My stepson, we went to Patriots training camp, at one point, and you try to get in those lines for those players to sign, and they always come. And he ended up getting a Randy Moss. He autographed the hat for him, and again, I still have the hat. Like, you just keep that stuff. You remember that's a moment you don't forget. And I had Pat Patriot sign it, who's the mascot, and I was still excited because it's just that's what sports does. And that's what a lot of these players, when they passed, unfortunately, you remember all those good memories, or all what they meant to you, the organizations, especially if you're a fan of the organization. Chris Ford might not have been my favorite player, but he was a Boston Celtic,
right?
And you don't forget that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But it's been a great show, Ron. Thank you for making me wear this dumb hat. Hopefully, I can win next year.
It'll live on forever because I'm going to post it everywhere.
Yeah, yes, I love you too. But
especially
we will do
on
this.
Those Yankee boards.
We will do this all over again on Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rhode Island Broadcasting. A lot of great shows, including ours. I love doing these. Look forward to it. Again, episode 101. So we are going to continue to have fun with these. And next week, we'll be talking NFC and AFC championship games. So already ready, almost Super Bowl time. So the season's almost over.
Like, are we planning on doing a Super Bowl show?
Absolutely. We do it every year now. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we get favorite foods again, right? All right, my friend. So we will.
We got to start thinking about this.
couple weeks, few weeks. I will see you next Friday, my friend. You take care. Everybody that's watched us live, thank you. Everybody that's going to watch us afterwards, share and follow this, please do. All the different ways on that ticker. And all we ever ask for is peace on earth.
Have a great night, everyone.